welcome to the stage, Mike Zakarian.
Let's go. What's up, party people? Happy Friday. I'm telling you right off the bat, I fell asleep last night at 10 o'clock. I feel amazing. I woke up at 6:15 this morning. I was ready to take on the world. I'm fully caffeinated. Honestly, probably over caffeinated as I'm still working my way through some coffee, and I'm ready to go. We got a fun one today. We're going to do a little bit of stuff up top, and then special guest, friend of the pod, friend of the show. I don't know, whatever we're going to call it. Sean Grant, Stormin' Pinball himself, making his return to the stream. He's going to rip a few Series 1 packs. I believe he has 3 left. Talk a little bit about his chop shotty plan, all that fun stuff. But more importantly, or equally important, I don't know, who's here this morning? We got Sneeps up in the house. Jump Shoots here. DC1, the common man. We got Eagle Putt. We got Pack Drip. He's calling me a Hall of Famer, but only one of us owns the Hall of Fame, Pack Drip, and that's you. Snoop Loop up in here. Letting us know it's Happy National Play in the Sand Day. Thank you so much, Snoop. Hugo's here. We got Shiggins Bowdivine fresh off his Tandy appearance yesterday, ripping his own Series 1 packs. With the people here, Brent, T-Man, Ricky Ricardo. Boston Base has got my baby watching with me this morning. Keep it clean. All right, Boston Base, I will do my best. I'll keep it as clean as this. We haven't done a giveaway, I don't know, in I feel like a couple of weeks. So like the stream, subscribe, hashtag HOF, Hall of Fame. Appreciate everyone being here. This is the conclusion of the week. There will be no content this weekend because it's our anniversary this weekend. And I'm going to be locked in. We're going to see, you guys know Sean Hayes from Will and Grace or from Smartless. We're going to go see Goodnight Oscar, the Tony Award winning performance from Sean Hayes. We're going to go see Goodnight Oscar on Broadway. So we're going to be doing that. I'm going to be offline. I'm going to try to be as offline as possible. So there you go. But yeah, so appreciate everyone being here this week. We had a fun week. We had LG come on this week. We had Weisberg yesterday, Sean today. A lot of fun in these streets. We're going to do a couple of housekeeping, not even housekeeping, a couple of things up top that we're going to talk about. And then we will, around 9:20 in about 17 minutes, our man, Sean's going to come on and rip some packs. But this morning, as I was scrolling the socials, I don't know if people, this was kind of assumed, but Giannis tweeted out both in English and in Greek, which is very impressive. And I sometimes wonder if someone else tweeted that for him or if he's like, I'm going to take the time. I'm going to tweet this in English and I'm going to tweet in Greek. But Giannis is not going to be playing in the FIBA World Cup. And I think everybody was kind of aware of that, right? He's coming off those injuries in the playoffs after getting smoked in the first round by the Miami Heat. And I'm sure, of course, he'd want to represent his country and play. But I think after the way the Bucks flamed out, new coach, he just needs to be as healthy as possible coming into a new season. And we might see the same thing with Jamal Murray here in Canada too, which will really bum me out. But so he's going to take care of his body. So Giannis is not going to be playing. I'll be honest, I hadn't really the only group that I had paid attention to was the group of death, which was like Canada, France, Serbia in there too. I forget what the 4 are, but I guess I could look this up right now. What is the group of death? The group of death is Canada, Latvia, Lebanon, and France. But is it B? Group C is where the United States are. And what I didn't know is that Greece was in that group. So the U.S. has Greece, Jordan, and New Zealand. So I would like to think, yeah, Stan said Giannis taking a break to learn the definition of the world's failure. That's a callback. It does seem like the United States has a pretty clear path to at least get out of the group stage. With Greece being dinged up, they're not going to have the main Antetokounmpo. So, but probably Kostas and Thanasis. And Greece is still a team, I think, that has a lot, like they've been playing together for a while. So I imagine they're going to still put up a pretty good fight, but obviously not having Giannis is a pretty big ding to the roster. So the United States has a pretty clear path to get out of the first group. And then I'm excited to see, so they're in Group C. Cause I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't really, let me see if I can pull up the New Zealand roster. Who do we get on the roster of New Zealand? Not a lot of, is Delhi? Oh no, he's Australia. Anyway, so the U.S. should be in pretty good shape. For those who are rooting for Americans, unless it's like women's soccer, we can't root for America anymore. America, most American thing ever is to not root for American. Anyways, but I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that. The other thing, so the Hall of Fame induction is happening this weekend, right? We got Pop, we got Pow, we got Parker, we got Dirk. Am I missing somebody else too? Am I missing somebody else? I think it's probably on the what's it called? The who am I missing? I'm just gonna let somebody else tell me. It's probably on the thumbnail, but I can't pull it up. But it got me that got me excited, and I was starting to look at some stuff, and I saw there was a great article on The Athletic for those that subscribe by Mike Barakoff, I believe is the last name. I'm sorry if I butchered that. Vorkunov. And it was kind of cool. He was looking at some, and I thought this was an interesting conversation. He was, oh, Wade, I'm sorry, Dwayne Wade, my bad. I promise that wasn't intentional, Stan. But he broke down like some of the players that are like who are retired, that are locks, retired, that are in the like the Chauncey Billupses of the world. But then was taking a look at some of the active players that he thinks are locks to get in. And I thought that'd be just like, I just wanted to go over those quickly and see what people's thoughts were in the chit chat. So for some of the active locks, and most of these make sense, he's got Giannis, he's got Steph Curry, he's got AD, Kevin Durant, Embiid, Draymond, James Harden, Dwight Howard. See, nothing, all this makes sense so far. LeBron, Jokic, Kawhi, Dame, CP3, Clay, Russ. I mean, Dame is awesome. I was kind of surprised to see him as an active lock, but I guess that does make sense. Was there anybody in that list of actives that you were like, oh, I'm not sure? I mean, people love to shit on Russ, but I mean, Russ has been incredible for a long time. Russ is absolutely in. You win an MVP, you're probably in. Draymond, of course, being a part of the Warriors run and what he's meant defensively to the league. I thought that was pretty. I thought all of these made sense. These all do seem like locks. The only one that stood out to me was Dame. I thought Dame was kind of an interesting lock. Yeah, Giannis was in there. I think Giannis was the first name that I said. Yeah, Giannis, one more time. Giannis, Steph, AD, KD, Joel Embiid, Draymond, Harden, Dwight, LeBron. I like that Dwight's still active. LeBron, Jokic, Kawhi, Dame time, CP3, Clay, and Russ. Yeah, that's true. This is true, Stan. If he's top 75, he's an obvious lock. That's fair. That's fair, Stan. All right, good point by you. Good point by Stan. I wanted to, here we go. This is where I think it gets a little spicy, though. The active near locks. I thought this was interesting. So Jimmy Butler, and I think Jimmy Butler he's going in. I'm sorry. After what we've seen him do in now 2 playoff runs with teams that underperformed in the regular season, he's got to get in there. We the People says, I think Dame is on the fence. What awards has he gotten? He's gotten all NBA a handful of times, right? And I think how many all-star teams has he made now? I think so. Jokic, yeah, Jokic is in there. Jokic is in there. Are you saying Jokic shouldn't be in there yet? That's crazy. So he's got Jimmy Butler. I think that makes sense. DeMar DeRozan, I thought, was an interesting one as a near lock for DeMar. And I guess when you look at just like the longevity of his career and how consistently he's put up big numbers on like decent teams, right? Those Raptors teams that just consistently won 50 games and then got bounced by LeBronto in the playoffs. And then I don't know. Well, you mean individual awards? Yeah, I mean, most players don't win individual awards though, right? Just only a couple of them. That's just like MVP, 6-man, and Defensive Player of the Year, right? But I guess in that case, none. Anyway, so Jimmy and DeMar, I thought those two were interesting. All right, Weisberg in here said Dame, 7-time All-Star, 7-time All-NBA, and Rookie of the Year. There you go. I've already got Rookie of the Year. 6th pick of the draft, baby. But yeah, so Jimmy and DeMar I thought were interesting. And then he put Luka in there. And Luka is a near lock is because the dude's only played a handful of years. Paul George, which you guys put, I guess I like forget. I guess I forget Paul George. I don't know. You guys think Paul George is a Hall of Famer? And I guess he has consistently put up big numbers. But then this is where it gets, I mean, Kyrie, I think Kyrie gets in there, even though Kyrie's got his warts. Kyrie's obviously in. He got Rudy in there too. And I guess Rudy's been like fun to make fun of, but has been a dominant defensive player for a very long time. So I think there's that. And Matt Harrison in the chat saying, just a reminder, Joe Dumars is in the Hall of Fame. He was a really good player for a very long time. The bar isn't that high. Yeah, I think that is we've talked about that before, right? Where it doesn't take a lot. That's kind of why I was surprised Chauncey Billups didn't get in this year. Yeah. PG needs a ring, in my opinion. Yeah, I guess I can't think of. I mean, I guess if you like forget that Paul George hit the side of the backboard a couple of times in the bubble, if you forget how many times they blew like 3-1 leads, shout out Doc Rivers. Yeah. That's the thing. Tim Hardaway getting it in over Chauncey Billups too, I also think is kind of interesting. NBA Hall of Fame is the Hall of Very Good. That's good. Kawhi is a lock. Yeah, I listed Kawhi. Kawhi was in that list. All right, let's keep going. I thought Rudy was interesting, but I do think that makes sense. Active in the mix. He's got Andre Iguodala, Kevin Love, Kyle Lowry, and Jason Tatum. It's kind of funny that Jason Tatum's in that list because it's 3 guys who have had really long careers and have been pretty successful. It's funny. Kevin Love would be an auto lock if that dude stayed healthy. I'd be like, he was such an incredible like stat stuffer when he was in Minnesota. Then he goes to Cleveland, gets a ring, 3rd best player on those teams. Yeah, I don't know. Is Donovan Mitchell in? No, not yet. Not yet. Iguodala is a super weak Hall of Fame too. You know, the thing about Iggy though, Iggy won 6th Man of the Year, right? But it was a mistaken award, in my opinion, when he won the NBA Finals MVP. But that is going to be such like a notch. All right, because that was their first chip. That was the Warriors' first chip. They took down LeBron, and I think that's part of it. It's going to be in there. Is Kevin Love better than Chris Bosh? I mean, it sucks. We were robbed of like 7 more years of Chris Bosh. 7 more years. Weisberg says, I don't know if Love has made enough All-NBA teams. He's only got 2 All-NBAs. Yeah. All right, let me see if there's anything else that we needed to share. Active could see it happening. Blake Griffin, Al Horford, Rajon Rondo. And then active Hall of Fame track. Here's your Donovan Mitchell. He's got Donovan here. Bam, Booker, SGA, Triple J, Ja Morant, Cat, and Trey. This is like these are all just young dudes. Young dudes. Anyways, I thought that was interesting just considering how many people, how many people like are going in this weekend. I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. Well, Boston Base, we're talking about the tall ships. I'm not going to make there. I'm not going to make it. Booker. I mean, all those dudes are 23 to 27. So it's too early. It's too early for any of those guys. It's too early for any of those guys. All right. One more thing before we get our special guests on here. I wanted to share something that happened last night that I thought was hilarious. Is Melo getting in? Yeah, Melo's absolutely. Melo's the first ballot Hall of Famer. He's just not eligible yet. I saw some people going nuts on Twitter about that stuff, and I'm like, you morons. Like, he's not eligible yet. Wait till he's eligible. Then he's going to go in. The dude just retired. But let's remind the people here, like the stream, subscribe, hashtag Hall of Fame. But something very exciting happened last night. And there was a wonderful tweet from one of my favorite ex-NBA players on Twitter, and that is Evan Turner. Evan Turner last night tweeted out, I hoop like Jimmy Butler for real. Here it is. I hoop like Jimmy Butler for real. I thought this was a funny tweet. Evan Turner's very good at stoking the bear a little, or stoking the fire a little bit. It would be poking the bear, stoking the fire, with some tweets on Twitter. I thought this was very funny. And I was one of the first people to see, I was just happened to be on Twitter when it happened. And the first thought I had is in the regular season. So I quote tweeted that and I said, in the regular season. Let me blow this up a little bit. Because he hoops like Jimmy Butler in the regular season. I thought it was funny because Jimmy Butler in the playoffs is incredible, and in the regular season, I thought it was just a fun jab right there. He comes back and he says, Mike, you couldn't hoop if your mic depended on it, which nice little play on words. I thought that was fun. And I think Evan thought he was in his bag right there. I think Evan was like, I am dropping bars right now on this nobody on Soch. And I was like, Evan Turner, sir, I wish my mic was as smooth as my jumper. And then bang, immediately hit him with it. And I did think this was funny. He replied with, I can already see myself blocking that jumper through the wall. And my initial reply to this was, hold on, let me find it, was Jimmy would block it through 2 walls though. And then came back one more time with this was a missed opportunity. I want to shout out Goblower. He said Goblower basically was like, Mike, you should, this is perfect. You could be the white guy co-host for Evan Turner's new podcast. I thought that was great. So we threw that in there. He hasn't reached out about a potential business opportunity, but I did have a lot of fun. Stan, I know it was a fucking joke, Stan. Oh, but in the regular season, Jimmy Butler was second team. No kidding, Stan. No one was really saying that Evan Turner was better than Jimmy Butler. God, comedy's so hard for you, Stan. Imagine just having a nice moment in your life. But anyways, that was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with that yesterday. It was a good time. So shout out Evan Turner for being fun, for being a good day. And then we updated our Twitter banner. So our Twitter banner's up there. Evan Turner's pretty hilarious. B sounds so different from what he looks like. He does. Evan Turner, man. Oh, Ohio State Evan Turner was different. Drop the mixtape. All right. Like the stream, subscribe, hashtag Hall of Fame. That's very exciting. We'll give away something that's probably worth nothing here at the end. But listen, our Top Shot moments all mooning right now. A lot of fun. Turner greater than Butler. Yeah, the chat's just trying to have Stan lose his mind. All right, let's get to it. Let's rip some Series 1 packs, making his triumphant return to the stream. Our man Storm and Pinball. Sean's on the show. What's going on, dude? How are we?
I am doing great. I'm very happy to be here.
This is I feel like we have a new setup now, right? Like, are we?
Yeah, well, I'm in a new place now. I moved since last time, and last time I had a new computer, but the problem was I had never used StreamYard before, so I had all these different questions being asked by my computer, like, is this okay? And I didn't realize that was going to happen, but our goal today is have things go nice and smoothly today. Knock on wood. Let's see if we can make this happen.
So how many?
I have it on. Okay, I'll share the. Let me know when I can share my screen.
Yeah, you can share. I'll pull it up, so you can share it whenever, and then I'll pull it up when we're ready. But I wanted to ask how many. So how many trade tickets did you go into the drop with?
I went nuts. I knew that I could max 8, but I didn't know if there'd be a wraparound. And once I saw how many packs were left after I purchased my first 8, I realized I'd get another crack at it.
Yeah.
So the first thing you had to do was get 40 in your system again in order to qualify to be into the waiting room. So I did that. And then I was like, okay, I don't want to burn unless I know I'm going to get those packs. And once it was clear that I did, I got rid of another 80 moments that I didn't really need. And so I wound up with 11 packs.
11 packs. So you've opened 8 of them already, right?
I've opened 8 of them already, and I actually have it on the screen as to what I got. I can scroll up.
Yeah. Why don't you share? You still haven't shared it yet, so why don't you hit that little present button there at the bottom?
Okay, present. Here we go.
And then I can throw that up there.
Share screen. Show what to share. It's this guy right here, I believe. Yes.
Yeah.
Share. Beautiful.
All right, here we go. We're going to put this up here. All right, the screen has been shared. So show us what we hit here. Is that a rare moment we got down there?
So, no, this is it's chronologically. So that's the last thing I bought. The last things I bought were the Jimmy Butler and the 2 Michael Bridges.
Okay, cool.
But then I think I might have bought that DeRozan. So everything above here. So starting here, this is everything I got from the first 8 packs that I opened up.
Nice.
So immediately got a Beal. I was happy with it. A lot of like mid-range stuff.
Yeah.
You know, the Dwight Howard, we're talking about him going to the Hall of Fame, was a nice low number, 228 out of 2,400. It's a good one. And the thing was, I've been wanting to buy Series 1 packs, but I figured I'd wait until after I open these packs, Series 1 moments, excuse me. But I figured I'd wait till I open the packs to find out what I actually got. So I did get a DeRozan. I didn't need to get that. Nice little Zach LaVine there. This DeAndre Ayton, not my favorite player, but a nice moment. I like Dennis Schroeder as a player, so it was cool to get that. The Jeff Teague is interesting because it's a much smaller amount of them. They made less than 1,000. I got another DeRozan, and then the best one I got was the LeBron James in terms of the monetary value. And I was really happy to have that. I already had one. This was a lower serial than the one I had. And then the Jamal Murray is not the Top Shot debut, but
no, just Series 1.
I mean, he's a rising star in my opinion. Anyway, what he did in the finals, I think that starts to talk about superstar status, the way he handled himself throughout the playoffs. So
It'll be fun to see Jamal have a full healthy season too. I'm curious to see
I
what
mean,
his
knock on wood. That's
yeah.
what you hope from a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
he really like he shined. Like he was
he's
hitting
awesome.
key shots to win games at the end of playoffs games. So
Yeah.
he definitely proved that he could do it when it mattered.
Yeah. Hey, which LeBron is that one, by the way?
The LeBron is. Let's go back to that. The LeBron.
Is that the dunk or is it the block?
Yes, it's the dunk.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, and I already had one of those, but like one of my core Top Shot strategies is just to hoard LeBron. I just believe that he's better than everyone else when it all comes, down to it. And that's a strategy I had when I was, and I still have when I collect physical cards, is that it comes down to Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. And then, the other tiers are lower, but like those guys are always going to be collectible no matter what.
What?
And you look at second tier. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say before, because since we're going down this, before you rip, give us a little background. Like, when did you get on here? And I know we're talking about like your approach to it, but like kind of give us a little story.
Well, I met this guy at trivia. He was hosting trivia. A guy named Mike Zakarian. I don't know if you know him. And he was telling me about Top Shot, and I was like, this is exactly for me. There's nothing that spoke to me more than this, because first of all, I have a lot of comic books. I have a lot of basketball cards, and they take up a lot of space. So the idea that I could collect something and it would never be damaged, it would always be in perfect condition, and that I'd have a market where I could just instantly buy and sell these things. It spoke to me on the level of a collector. It also spoke to me because I have a background in markets.
Yeah.
So one thing that I've taken from the entire Top Shot all day experience is how this is like a college level course in economics, because you start to learn things about people's behavior towards these, people, towards these collectibles. And it's been fascinating for me. Obviously, the thing that comes up the most with the value of these instruments is the scarcity of them.
Right.
And so when you look back, like maybe I shouldn't have paid so much for that LaMelo Ball that they made 40,000 of.
Right.
Right. Now I think things are a lot clearer for people now that we're at this phase of Top Shot. And it came up in All Day as well. And I'm sure that in All Day, all of the debuts that they made that have 10,000 are not going to be worth what they are now. But it's just a question of when, how that plays out. So I'm trying to use the things that I learned in Top Shot and apply it to All Day. And I think if I had started when you did, I'd have the same kind of negative feeling towards Top Shot, because All Day I got smoked. I paid, $92 for a DeAndre Swift, I paid $100 for a Russell Wilson, which is not worth anything now. So I understand why there's an overall negativity, but I was able to avoid that because I didn't get smoked quite so bad. And I didn't see things drop as much as they did. Now, I think the point that we're at Top Shot now is that I think things are a lot more normal.
Yeah.
I think that now that we've gotten past the speculative part where there are all these people in it that weren't really into basketball, they were in it because that was the hot NFT, marketplace at the time. I think now that we have more real collectors, that things will not be quite as crazy and be jumping all over the place. And it's a lot more, it's a safer environment for people if they want to get into it now. That's what I believe. That's what I hope.
I think it's definitely been a little bit more stable and steady for the last the last like half of this most recent NBA season. I definitely agree with that. I mean, it's been, and I think like there is one more Band-Aid that need to be ripped off with these like Series 1 packs, and I think now that there's an understanding of like what the supply is, and there's no like waiting to see what's going to happen next. I am curious though. Like, I feel like anytime we've had big tentpole moments in the platform, there's always been like an immediate reaction to it, and then we've kind of gone back to the same place. So I'm curious what like sentiment is 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now. But I agree. I think like for the most part, the team's been doing a lot of solid stuff. Even though that they've been consistently like losing staff members, they've still been like on the right path, it feels like. So have you been buying like pretty consistently throughout like your time on here?
The OTM sniper is still my favorite thing to do. Like I'll find you can find some good stuff on there if you're patient, you know. And the thing is that the values have gone down to such approachable levels that you're not risking the same amount anymore. You know, you can fill out sets for $1 or $2 a moment. You know, at that point, you're not risking very much. The rares are down to $20 now, and you can start to get rares of players that you really like, and you can make some speculative decisions about the future. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. But that's why it's funny. I think I received some pushback because I gave away all of my moments like a couple of weeks ago. Because I wanted to start over because I thought it would be like way healthier both for my brain and for my like just my brain. Over. No, seriously. And like, so now I'm actually enjoying it because it's like, oh, I'm getting one of like the best rookies from this previous season, his debut moment for like $30 instead of what this was like a couple of years ago. I'm looking at those same buys from like $250, $500, stuff like that. And, you know, like looking at that Tatum debut that I gave away, which was an incredible gift to give away to somebody. But it's like, well, yeah, but I bought it for like $800 and it like sucks to see every time I log in, it's like minus 650. So like, yes, I still lost all that money. But
you hate seeing the red when you go to OTM and you look at your, you know, your collection. And sometimes you just like to wash your hands of something. But one other thing, and this is again, we talked about this before I went on today. I am a huge NBA Top Shot apologist because I think that they've done some very smart things in terms of how they've fixed some of the problems. For example, if you did get smoked on a moment, if you paid a lot for something, it's still got a high Top Shot value. So you can still hold on to it. It still has that value. So someone buying something at the lower price now doesn't get that same Top Shot score.
Yeah.
And the reason it's significant is because when they have events like they did when you trade things in and they have that higher Top Shot value, you're trading in something that you could rebuy for $5, but it has $100 value, let's say, that event.
I know what
you're saying. So if you held on to it, you could get that value. I used that when we had that legendary giveaway at the end of the finals, you know, and so they found a way to still give value to moments that had dropped a lot.
So I get the theory behind that. And to me, it was like a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. Like, I don't know if they used I think the theory behind Top Shot score is very good. And then I think they used it once every like 4 months. And so I'm a little hesitant to be like, I get what they were trying to do. You know what they should, I said this the other day, I think on this show, so I apologize if people are hearing it again, but like this whole series 1 drop that they just did would have made way more sense like 2 years ago when they changed from collector score to Top Shot score, because they burned so many people who were stacking these moments because they gave them a collector score that they were now losing. And by doing, because I do think like to have an off ramp for some of these moments that have high TSS value, but have no real actual value anymore, is like a healthy way to be like, hey, yes, this sucks, but here you go. Here's an opportunity to get something maybe that has more value, or at least not a more efficient way to turn 40 things worth $40 into one thing worth $40. Like, I can appreciate that. But I think to me, again, and this is like revisionist history. It's easy to say this after the fact, but I do think if they had done something similar like this 2 years ago, however long ago Top Shot score was invented, I think it would have gone a long way, because instead they didn't provide any off ramp. And I think that was the beginning of the sentiment change a little bit. But anyways, I agree with most of what you were saying there.
I agree with what you're saying as well, that it's possible that they could have done things better, but they still did do these things eventually. Mm-hmm. You know, they still did find a way to give value to these moments that didn't have the same value they had before. Yeah. And if you go back to the fact that I started off, I've bought boxes and boxes of physical cards that aren't worth anything. But in Top Shot, there's still a way that there is some value. I can't take 40 common cards that had value in 1995 and then change them into something I would like, even if the value is less. But you can do that here. So I really appreciate that.
Definitely.
All right. You want to start ripping some packs or what?
Yeah,
We're
let's
gonna
do it.
This? All
Let's
right.
do it.
All right. Here we go.
So the best one you pulled basically the second best common moment that you could get, right? That LeBron.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, I'm happy for any of this because I traded in stuff that I did not care about whatsoever.
Right.
Now, this obviously is a huge improvement. I know you're talking about yesterday where you get all these things that happen and they tell you what you got. Okay, we're hoping that's going to be the case.
Is this the Lakers moment? Oh no. Karl Anthony Towns.
I will take that.
Yeah, cat debut.
That's great. I didn't have that one. And again, I like it because I can fill these up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try to complete Series 1, Series 2, and Series 3. So this is a great way for me to do that.
Ooh, Wagner. Some more
honestly,
FIBA.
This is a player that I really like. I think the whole story with him playing so well with his brother on Orlando is one of my favorite stories of last year. And he was really good for me in So Rare last year.
Hey,
for a
who knows?
stretch.
Maybe Top Shot does a FIBA challenge. He's got a mustache right now for Germany. It's fire.
I have to check that out.
Yeah. Ooh, Utah Jazz. I think this is like one of the longest moments on the platform. Oh no, this isn't the debut. I was thinking it was the Donovan.
This
debut.
is not the debut, but I love Donovan Mitchell, so I'm happy about that one as well.
There you go.
So we're in good shape. So that was good because there was no. I like Mo Wagner, so that would have been the skunk of the pack, but that was a solid pack for me.
Yeah, the cat debut. That'll carry you.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's get some Lakers sweats in here.
I like it.
Ooh, Brooklyn. Karis LeVert.
That's a small supply on that one, so that's cool.
1,500.
That guy's an interesting story because for a while it seemed like he would never play basketball again, but health-wise he's been able to figure it out.
There was a story. I'll wait till this one's ripped. Phoenix Suns. Oh, more DeAndre Ayton. There we go.
Now this is a different one. This is not his debut, so that's another one I didn't have. And that's a nice low number as well.
Karis LeVert hosted a party last week and had a $93,000 watch stolen from his home. Isn't that crazy? $93,000
That's
watch.
insane.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Atlanta Hawks.
All
Trae
right.
Young debut?
Is this Trae Young? That would be amazing if it was.
No rookie badges, right?
Yes,
so
it is.
Trae Young
Yes,
debut.
it is. I like it.
There we go.
Another
Shout out to Adam
amazing
Stubbs.
player.
That's one of his favorite moments.
Let me put it on.
There we go. All right, we got like at least one solid moment each pack. We had Trae Young,
Yeah,
Cat.
and again, I was trading Katie Lou Samuelson for this stuff. You know, like it's stuff I literally would never rebuy.
Yeah.
You know, so this is like free money for me right here. This is free cheese.
Here we go.
And we will go to the final pack. Let's see what we can get here. I don't know anyone who got anything rare or legendary. I know the odds were very low, but I didn't see any of that when Sneeps did it. I mean, Sneeps got that John Morant, so that was phenomenal for him.
Yeah. Oh, that was Boston based. I think it was on Sneeps' the playback. But
it went to couldn't go to a better guy. Boston based been a true top shot man for a while. I see his name all the time.
Yeah, he's constantly buying. All right, here we go. Last pack. We got a Clippers.
It said OKC versus the Clippers, so this could be something really awesome.
How about Kawhi?
Beverly.
Pat Beverly. I've seen so many Pat Beverleys ripped on stream. I've seen like at least 10.
I think the biggest like buildup with all those interstitials before the thing was when Sneeps got like a Laker and it was like top shot debut, championship year, this and that, and then it was Rondo. I was like, wow,
Rondo,
that's the letdown right there.
Dwight Howard. Who we got?
Right.
Toronto?
Serge Ibaka. All right, so this is the last one. Let's see what we get here.
Do it. Come on.
Cleveland, Atlanta.
Ooh, John Collins debut.
Another guy I didn't have, so it fills out my my set very nicely.
There we go.
That was strong, but the Trae Young, that's probably the best one I got out of that.
Yeah. So you were saying, your plan is to go try to get as much of the Series 1 as possible? You're trying to complete that base set?
Yeah, I'm almost done with the Series 2 and Series 3 base sets. So I'm very close to those. And again, I've been lucky because I've waited. Like some of those moments were just too high, and now they've come to a affordable level for me. So that worked out.
What are some of the bigger Series 1 moments that you still need to grab?
I can just go onto OTM and show you.
Yeah, if you want. I think you might have to reshare screens
Oh,
because
okay.
it's only showing you this one. So I'll stop sharing that one. Here we go.
Okay, that's fair. And then I'll tell it which one to share.
Yeah.
Present. It says stop screen. Let me do that
Yeah, you gotta
first
stop
and then
and
try
start.
again. Yes. Okay. Very good. And I got OTM ready to go here. And then if I go to sets, it'll just show right away.
Yep.
Like,
here we go. So
yeah,
okay.
I'm close on a lot of these sets. Let me just go to cost complete. And yeah, I'm not too close to that hollow MMX one.
The Cosmics.
Yeah, we're not there yet. But S4 base set close. Yeah, I'm $154 away, and just a few moments left on the S3
or S3. Okay, I was like,
and S2. I just this way. Yeah, I just need Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball, and then after that, it's 25 and under for everything else. So
there we go. What about Series
LaMelo
1?
Ball would have been a lot more expensive before,
Yeah.
and so.
What do you have
Again,
left for
I'm not
Series
trying
1?
to twist the knife on everyone that got smoked, but like, I do think this is a good time for people to get into it. And going back to what we were talking about before, the idea now is we want to get more people into this. We want to see how we can do that. So this is a safer time to do it. A lot of when people talk about, how they dislike things that Top Shot did. I mean, imagine yourself in their place, and they've created something. They've made this platform, and it works in a lot of different ways that are very good. And then that you're at an unsustainable level right off the bat, where people are just buying like crazy. The prices are very, very high, and then you have to deal with the aftermath of that, and you do the best you can to do that. I know from a standpoint of someone that's been a creator. I've made things before. I was a video game designer before I went onto the floor of the American Stock Exchange. And it's very hard to make things and make them well, especially when money is on the line, and so.
Hey, but the one thing I'll push
I can
back on
understand
is
why
the way you
yeah, go
the
ahead.
way you frame there. Well, hold on. No, just if they were aware that it was unsustainable, I do put some responsibility on them.
But maybe they didn't know how unsustainable it was. Like, they're figuring this out. You can tell by the moves that they've made that they're figuring things out as they go along, right?
Yeah.
So you have this incredible demand. When I first started, for example, you couldn't get the packs you wanted. There was a pack that was like $500, and there wasn't enough of it, and I didn't even get to buy one. And I said it to you. I said, this is the first time I've ever wanted to pay $500 for something, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
So what do? You start to increase the supply. So now you've got 60,000, prints of commons, and that hopefully makes the ones that are more important stand out when you buy a pack. So it makes a bigger deal when you do, right? And then the bubble collapses, and there aren't as many users, and so the fact that you made 60,000, 40,000, 30,000 of things doesn't look very good anymore to history, right? So what do? For this series, they made it more, normal, and they've kept the numbers down. And maybe they made a little bit more than they should have of the basic ones, and that's why the series 4 commons aren't that.
But I'll push back just because I think like if when they were wrong, right? Like by being wrong, it's not like they're only hurting the people still here, because they're for you to create like this oversupply, and the way that they went from like 1,500 to 35,000 to 60,000. It's not like, oh, we made too much for the growth that we're having. There's just like no growth. So it's only banging down on the people that are still here. So I get what you're saying. I'm not saying this is easy. I'm not saying I would have been able to handle it, but guess what? I don't do that job. So it's not my responsibility to be cautious of like your current user base and being able to have the foresight to be like, hey, maybe we shouldn't drop as much as we're doing. You know what I'm saying? And like, I think, and again, I think they've done a lot. I'm not trying to be FUD, but I think they've done a lot of great stuff, especially in the last like 6 months. I do think they're on the right track, but again, they are one of the, like, I know layoffs are happening everywhere across the country. They are a company that have gone from over 600 employees to just over 100 employees in 9 months. I don't know. To me, that seems like I makes me concerned with what we're doing up here at the top.
Again, like to go, angel versus devil here. They didn't know that they didn't need that many people. When they first started, it was going crazy, and they were doing so much. And now they're still trying to do as many good things. And as you said, they've had a lot of great developments with a smaller staff, and that's something that's happened to a lot of businesses, like you said. I mean, I look at the platform where it is now, and it is a great platform. Sure. They added the what they call the offer system, which bothers me because you're actually bidding. It should be called a bid. You don't you bid for something. The offer is the person selling something. That's actually something that I learned when I was on the floor of the American Stock Exchange, and they'd correct you if you said it wrong. So if you wanted this to be a marketplace, you'd do the right verbiage. But anyway, you have the ability at any time to liquidate your moments for a price. Now, it might not be the price you want, not be the best price, but that liquidity is another thing that you don't have with physical cards. And they created that, and it's actually kind of hurt the prices of things, because I think that it's caused a downward force on prices, because there are people that will open a pack and immediately sell it and hit whatever bid is there. They sell it at that price. And I think for that reason, things go down a lot faster than they need to.
Yeah.
And it's harder to recover, because the way that things go up is someone just decides to run something up. That's what you see the most of right now. Some guy decides to buy 9 of something and it goes up by 60% right away. And again, the guy that was on the floor of the exchange, and I love markets. I think it's amazing that I can buy 2 Michael Bridges and see that the value on the tape is worth 50%, even if it's real or not. I think that's just funny that you can do that, especially now with, not as many users. But at the same time, you can find opportunities where you see 2 things sitting there and you know that the next guy is a $40 gap away, and you can put it down there and then put an offer for an immediate profit. And every now and then you can pull that off. And because you can, people will see that and they'll be like, oh, maybe I should have gotten that. Well, I did something fun with my, if I go to my collection here, if I go to serial number, when they did the extra spicy, I found that you could just buy. I bought Damian Lillard 7 and 8 for like $20 each or something. What did I paid $15 for 7 and $15 for 8. And then all of a sudden people started giving me making bids on it for like $20 or $25. I could have sold them right away.
Yeah.
Like there's funny things that you can do right now, because the market, it's like the wild, wild west. You can do whatever you want. You can find some interesting strategy. I like low numbered things. So I got the Giannis video game numbers. I only paid 98. It says it's worth 128, whatever. But like, that's number 2 out of 499. That's pretty cool to me. And if things stretch out, if you're going long term, that might be really valuable. If not, it's just something cool that I have.
Yeah.
Either way. But
I think that's the right approach to it. Like, if you are messing around with this, I think if you're just like, hey, this is cool to have, then that's the only way to do it. I don't think there shouldn't be any financial inclination that this is going to be worth anything anytime soon anyways. Like, because I just don't see a world in which, I mean, even Top Shot has kind of come out there and said it too. They're not even like worried about acquiring new people. Like, they're just not, like, they're not there yet. And yeah, I don't know.
And if you look at the platform between this and All Day, I'm so much happier when I'm on Top Shot. There's so much more that I can do, and hopefully they'll develop the same functionality, and All Day will have that. But I think that another reason why I enjoy collecting basketball is just a better sport in terms of its players than the NFL. Unfortunately, in the NFL now, the running backs are there for 2 or 3 years. The only players that last for any length of time are the quarterbacks.
Right.
And so the collectability isn't there because the players are they're more disposable, unfortunately.
Well, there's like 10 people on the court and you actually get to
Right,
see
right.
them, you get to know them versus like the, 60 all whatever you're seeing like throughout an NFL game. So I agree with that. I mean, also Top Shot's been here for a little bit longer. I mean, their relationships are a little bit different with Top Shot. Like All Day was launched during the collapse of all of this stuff too. So
yeah.
I think that is part of it. I'll be curious to see. All Day I think is in a stickier situation than Top Shot is, and I mean you can see that with even when like LG and the First Mint tweet out how many more actives or buyers there are on Top Shot versus All Day, because I mean All Day is just a smaller audience of the Top Shot people. Like there's probably 8 people who are like, oh, I'm interested in NFL All Day, but not NBA Top Shot.
Exactly. And you look at the timing of things, like All Day is now, the things are going to go up because people are anticipating the season. So you kind of see how things balance out. I remember when All Day first started, Top Shot dropped because everyone was taking their money out of Top Shot and using that Dapper and All Day.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always these external forces to the market as well. But a couple other things, like when you were talking earlier about the Damian Lillard versus Jimmy Butler, like who's going to the Hall of Fame. It's kind of funny that you talked about those two guys right back to back, because every reason that Damian Lillard would get into the Hall of Fame is exactly what Jimmy Butler did. It's just there's a little bit more recency bias about Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler has had these 2 incredible runs, and there's this huge difference between regular season and playoff Jimmy Butler.
Mm-hmm.
But Damian Lillard took his team way further in the playoffs a bunch of times than they even deserve to get. They went to the Western Conference Finals that one year, and he had like nobody else on the squad.
Yeah, they went to that one Western Conference Finals who they got by the Nuggets, I think, in the second round, and then they lost in 4 to the Warriors. Yeah, that was a weird year. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, Dame has like iconic game winners. I think I just needed to think through the Dame one, but you're right. There is a little bit more recency bias with Jimmy, and then who knows? Maybe both of them are on the same team in a couple of weeks, which will be fun.
Damian Lillard is probably one of the biggest turnarounds. Damian Lillard and James Harden, the 2 guys that are not signed, or we're not sure where they're going to wind up for next season. They were in such a different place this time last year. James Harden deliberately took a pay cut, said, hey, you can pay PJ Tucker with some of my money.
Yeah.
I want to help this team. And now he wants to be somewhere else. And Dame Lillard signed a contract that says, I want to be a trailblazer for life. And Portland blows every decision they can make to the point where he's just like, I have to leave. I think Damian Lillard is the only guy who asked for a trade where everyone's like, yeah, we get that. You just gave $130 million to Jeremy Grant and you haven't figured anything else out. Whereas all these other teams like Phoenix and Houston has, they and the Lakers, they found ways to get guys that can fill their teams out. And I don't blame Lillard for wanting to leave because they didn't do that. If Trailblazers sign Yuta Watanabe or all these other guys that are good players that are not expensive to the team and just showed that they're trying to improve this team somehow, I don't think he'd be asking for a trade.
I think that's
completely Portland's fault.
I think that's giving Yuta a little bit more credit than he deserves. I think if they landed somebody like Kevin Durant and then got Yuta,
completely. But what I'm saying is they're filling out the teams so much better. Portland didn't do anything like that.
Well,
they just overpaid.
I don't think Portland
Grant.
expected to get Scoot Henderson, and I think when Scoot fell in their lap, they had a choice that needed to be made there. But I honestly I do put it a little bit on Dame, just because like you're telling me 2 years ago you didn't see this coming. Like the writing was on the wall that Portland wasn't going to be able to attract someone to make. I mean, like they went from Dame and CJ to Dame and Simons. It was like, why are we doing the same thing again? So I get his frustration, but I feel like this was 2 years too late.
I'm just saying that he was much more game to try to make it work.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah, absolutely.
I've watched the, I've seen some articles like this was a long time coming and they made this mistake and that mistake.
Mm.
But Lillard was still game, and he put together probably the best run of his career last season.
Yeah,
So
he was
he
incredible.
proved that he came back from that injury and that he was, trying to make this happen. And then their front office did nothing to
Yeah,
improve the team. So,
yeah.
it's the reverse of Harden,
No,
where
it's
it's like
yeah. They're not
my
comparable. They're not
joke with
comparable.
Harden is that Harden is now demanding that the NBA make the expansion happen faster so he can be traded to Seattle or Las Vegas.
Yeah, yeah,
You
well,
know,
definitely. I
like
think he'd pick Las Vegas over Seattle, knowing James Harden.
yeah, definitely. But
Um, well, I'm gonna wrap here in a second, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the YouTube channel, the big question that you've been doing, and like
yeah,
what's coming up.
well, I'll tell you, first of all, I had a lot more respect for you once I started trying to do it myself because it is a grind to try to put a daily thing out,
Yeah,
even if you're trying to do something small. But I really enjoyed doing it. So the NBA, the big question is um, is something that's meant to be a very quick wrap up of the previous day and to
Mhm.
talk about the next day. And I try to break down every game to what is the big question that will be answered in this game or that will decide who will win this game. So it's for fantasy purposes, it's for betting purposes. And I actually had a really good record during the playoffs, and it was a lot of fun for me to do it. So it's something that's just meant to be like under 10 minutes. You just watch it and it gets you ready for your decision making for the next day
What's
for
the
that
name of the
night's
channel
games.
again?
My channel is Storm Pinball on
Okay,
YouTube,
I'm gonna drop a
and
link in the chat.
I have it down as hashtag Storm Pinball. I'm over 300 subscribers right now. I'm excited. You're going to hit 10K soon. I'm very excited for that. That's going to be a big moment.
Yeah, we've been freaking. We were on a here. I'm gonna drop this link into the chat right now. We were on
I
a
appreciate
really
it.
good pace, and then it slowed down. But now we've picked back up. We've picked back up, and we're moving along. We're almost at 9,600 now. So get
Now on
ready.
my channel, I don't just talk about the NBA. A lot of the things that you'll find on my channel are music reviews. I did some movie reviews. I want to do some more video game content, and also on there you will see my ultimate pinball highlight reel. I'm
There
one of
we
the
go.
best pinball players in the world, and I put together a reel of documentary footage and live streaming events
Oh yeah.
that show some of my most exciting, fun moments in competitive pinball.
There you go. So go check
Yeah,
that out here. I just dropped the link. It's at Sean Grant Stormin. Sorry, Sean Grant Storm Pinball is the handle for it.
thank you.
Dropped it in there. Go check that out, dude. Thanks for coming on, man. We'll have to do this again next time we get some more Series 1 packs, or next time you want to rip some packs. Come on,
I'm
talk some top
ready.
shot. Let's do it.
Talk NBA, whatever. I really appreciate you having me on. It's always a great time. Thank you very much, and keep
Yeah,
up the
man.
great work.
Yeah, good to see you. We'll do it again soon. Later, man. All right, shout out Sean for coming on. That was great. It was fun to talk a little choppy shotty there. Also, hey, look at this shirt right here. Yeah, there it is. NBA Bit baby. Go get some merch. You can find a link to that in the show notes. Also, for those that don't remember, I'm seeing Boston Base right here in the chat. Boston Base was officially serial number 1 of Cameo. We did our first Cameo yesterday, which was hilarious. I think it's geared more towards Top Shot Tony. I just think it's so funny that it actually happened. That we are officially on Cameo. I think it's hilarious, which makes me think they're maybe running out of money or something. But anyways, if you want Tony to do something, I'm going to drop a link right into the chat right now. Don't feel pressure to do this. I just think it's hilarious. I will also say last call here. Last call. Also, somebody asked for some foot related content yet last night. I turned that one down. I did. We do have a no feet rule. Dicks maybe, no feet though. Not in this house. Is somebody dropping off a package right now? Yes, I think so. All right, here we go. Like the stream, subscribe, hashtag HOF. Appreciate everyone being here today. I hope you guys had a great week. We had a fun week of content, and again, we're at 9,596 subscribers. So I think I think I figured a little algo boost out yesterday. So I'm gonna continue to mess around with some of these shorts with some voiceover and have some fun with that. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for more content. But yeah, make sure you click all the links, all that fun stuff. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Only 22 entrants. What are you bros doing? Like the stream, subscribe, hashtag HoF. All right, we're going to spin it right now. If you win, shoot me a DM and I will send you a bottom shoddy moment. Look at a lot of familiar faces in here. A lot of familiar faces. Winner, chicken dinner, Boston base himself. Wow. Wow. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? For all of our guests this week, LG, Weisberg, Sean, appreciate everybody coming on. Hope you guys have a great weekend. And I will see you on Monday, unless I get really bored this afternoon. You never know.